Back in 2023, everyone wanted to know about commonplace books. As of then, I had been keeping commonplace books for 10 or 11 years, and so I started making YouTube videos about commonplace books. One of those videos caught on and exploded, and because of that, I accidentally became a notebook czar. Now I have a master's in theological studies, another in systematic theology, and a third in the philosophy of religion. And what I came to find out through my various YouTube projects is that people care much more about how I study than what I actually study. And that's fine, I guess that makes sense. But again, it turned me into the notebook czar. How to use commonplace books? What are compendiums? What's the difference between a journal and a diary? What about pocket notebooks and catch-alls? And everything else that you can do with a notebook. So I started applying some of the tools that I learned in my philosophy master's degree in order to chart the logical space of all notebooks. I started analyzing the notebooks that I actually keep myself. I started thinking about other notebooks that you could keep. I started new methods myself. And then I came up with a whole system for adjudicating which notebook is best for you. Now, I did a whole video on that, so if you want to see more on that, just check this video up here. And though I've come up with a taxonomy of the different notebooks you could keep, people continue to ask me the same question. The most straightforward version of the question is, which notebooks do you bring with you? But oftentimes people ask, how big are your pockets? Like, how do you fit these giant notebooks in your pockets? How do you bring them with you? How are you lugging around so many notebooks? My friend Jared Henderson remarked that I should have a wagon to bring all the notebooks with me. So in this video, I'm going to show you the two most important notebooks for me. That is the two that I always bring with me everywhere I go. But sometimes I carry more than these two notebooks. So I'm also going to show you how I lug around all my notebooks and books with me when I need to. So spoiler alert, it's not a wagon. Instead, it's a saddleback leather flight bag. This is the chestnut color. It's beautiful and awesome. I'll give you guys a quick little review of this after I show you the two most important notebooks that I carry with me. Okay, so something simple like a little notebook can help massively improve your life. Don't just take my word for it. Try it yourself. But there are multiple ways that you can use a notebook, and you need to determine which way is best for you based on your needs. So I found that there are three basic categories for keeping a notebook. There are notebooks for thoughts, there are notebooks for experience, and there are notebooks for self-mastery. So keeping a notebook for thoughts could mean that you're keeping a notebook of your own thoughts. This would be called a journal. Or it could include keeping the thoughts of others, like a commonplace book where you're collecting quotations. Or it could be for keeping information, like a compendium. Notebooks for experience include things like diaries, where you're capturing your daily experiences and emotions. You're logging what happened, and you're logging how you felt about it. And then notebooks for self-mastery would include something like a time block log, where you carve up all the hours of your day, and you assign different tasks to each time block to help you be more productive. It could also include a workout log, where you're logging your lifts, or your runs, or whatever exercise you're doing. But those are the main three categories that I've found. Now I use lots and lots of notebooks spanning all three categories, but I don't always bring them with me. However, at all times I have at least one notebook with me, and most of the time I have two notebooks with me. Both of these travel notebooks come from the thoughts category. The one I always carry with me is a pocket catch-all notebook, and then depending on the situation, I'll either bring a pocket commonplace book or a pocket compendium. Now, why do I choose to bring these two with me? Well, a catch-all notebook is basically my working memory. This is where I jot down tasks and ideas and thoughts, new blog posts, podcast ideas, Park Notes video topics, plot lines for the science fiction novel that I'm working on, chapters for the Park Notes book that I'm writing, life goals, grocery lists, everything. Everything goes in here. This is like an extension of my brain, and it's been the most beneficial tool in my life. Now, I know that sounds like hyperbole. You're just saying this for the video. Genuinely, I used to sit in bed for hours with all these ideas rushing in my head, and I'd have to rehearse them because I was so afraid that I'd forget them. And so it was seriously impacting my sleep. But then I started keeping a pocket notebook and writing down my ideas throughout the day, and I didn't have to worry about losing them while I was sleeping. Now I sleep much better. So at all times I have a pocket catch-all with me. This is just an English tan cover. It's made by Stride Ridge on Etsy. You can find a link in the description. I believe it's Hornween leather, so that's pretty cool. And it's just covering a Loic Term 1917 A6, the pocket one. And while this one's my favorite, it's also interchangeable. It's a little bit more on the bulky side. So if I'm going to a wedding or somewhere that I need to wear a suit, I'll often use a Field Notes memo book. It's much slimmer. This is just a Lost Dutchman leather cover on a Field Notes memo book. But I use lots of different pocket notebooks with lots of different leather covers to function as my pocket catch-all. The particular instantiation of the catch-all is not all that important. What matters is that I can bring it with me and use it for its functional role. It's catching all my ideas and thoughts. Anything I need to remember is going in my catch-all. I use lots of different brands. One of my favorites to use is Murdy Creative Co. I'm actually an affiliate with them, so you can get 10% off your entire order with my promo code ParkerNotes at checkout. Find the link in the description. And some of you might like the Field Notes memo book to function as your pocket catch-all. I'm also an affiliate with them, so you can get 10% off your entire Field Notes order with promo code ParkerNotes, and you can find that link in the description as well. I always try to find a discount for you guys if I can. So that's a notebook for catching my thoughts. I also carry with me a notebook where I collect other people's thoughts, like my Pocket Contemplation Compendium. Sometimes I call this my Contemplatio. I'm sure that's not the right way to say the Latin, but oh well. And my Pocket Proverbs Commonplace book. I bring these kinds of notebooks with me to keep myself from the infinite scroll. When I'm waiting in a lobby or in a doctor's office, when I'm stuck in line, anytime I'm tempted to pull out that infinite scroll, I pull out notebooks full of ideas that I want to reflect on instead. Now, maybe a little scrolling is okay, but I have a pretty addictive personality and I get sucked in very easily. So I've found that keeping a notebook full of ideas that I think are interesting, fascinating, that I want to think about more, that I want to chew on, that I want to master and become an expert in, is much more beneficial to me than scrolling through a bunch of crap. So in my Contemplation Compendium, I just put a whole bunch of information that I want to master. I'm not putting quotes in here, I'm just abstracting out ideas and information and putting them in here for me to reflect on. So I cover this more in detail in a video up here if you want to see that. But a compendium is a collection of information, and that's what this is. So I have things like Kant's Critique of Descartes, current artificial intelligence and artificial general intelligence projects. I want to be a good philosopher of mind and philosopher of artificial intelligence, so I want to be well versed in the current projects. So I've researched them and I abstracted out the information and I put it in my compendium. I have some stuff on Pythagoreanism and Stoicism, transcendental arguments, the Neoplatonic Trinity. It's going to be a lot of theology and philosophy, but that's what I'm into, that's what I want to be an expert in. So I fill this up with information I want to master and I bring it with me to learn on the go. But if I'm not bringing a compendium with me, I usually have a commonplace book. This is my Pocket Proverbs Commonplace book, and the idea is super simple. While I'm reading books, I'm looking for wise sayings, I'm looking for aphorisms and proverbs, gnomic statements, riddles, and just general wisdom. When I find something I want to add to my Pocket Proverbs Commonplace book, I highlight it and I write proverb next to it. When I'm done reading that book, I go back through, I find all the proverbs and I add them to this. Now, this is genuinely one of my favorite possessions. This represents hundreds of books that I've read, TV shows I've watched, audiobooks, conversations I've had, where I've found wisdom. It's super cool. This is my book of proverbs. When I'm stuck at a red light, when someone's late to an appointment, when I'm in an awkward situation and tempted to pull out my phone, I pull this out and I rehearse some of my favorite wise sayings instead of mindlessly scrolling. Now, this one also looks super cool with the black and gold. It's a Leuchtturm 1917 gold pocket notebook, and I have it in a Norman Kahn original leather cover. This is also Hornween leather. Norman Kahn makes the best leather goods. He's a master. I like to keep my notebooks in leather covers because it gives distinct character to each one of my notebooks. It helps me remember what's inside each one, and it protects the notebooks from wear and tear. When I haven't used these, the black covers get peeled off or the memo books get all crunched up. So I really like using leather covers, but you don't have to. For those of you who don't want to use leather covers but still want to protect your notebooks, you might really like Lockbee covers. These are wax canvas, not made from any animal products. They have a cool little zipper. Lockbee makes their own pocket notebooks that go inside here, but it'll also fit a Field Notes memo book that slides right in there and you can zip it back up and you have a vegan pocket notebook cover. Now, I'm an affiliate with Lockbee as well. You can get 10% off your Lockbee stuff with promo code PARKNOTES. You don't have to remember all these promo codes. Just check the description and I'll have them all there for you. Like I said, if I can get you guys a discount, I'm going to do that. So those are the two styles of notebooks that I'm going to bring with me everywhere I go. I always have a catch-all notebook with me, and most times I'm going to have either a commonplace notebook or a compendium notebook. So I have ideas of others and I have my own ideas. These are coming with me to help bolster my intellectual life and keep me from becoming an infinite scrolling zombie. But a lot of times I bring my briefcase with me so I can get a bunch of work done. I bring my laptop with me. I bring a bunch of books and a bunch of my other big notebooks. And that's why I love my Saddleback flight bag. This thing is durable and beautiful. Saddleback has a 100-year warranty. So if anything breaks, they fix it. I've personally never had anything break on any of my Saddleback things. I love these guys. I've been trying to become an affiliate of them for years and years, and it finally finally happened. They sent me this bag and it instantly became my new favorite. It's got these 2 front pockets where I put my pocket notebooks. You can also slide them in behind here, so there's like 4 front pockets. It's got this super wide mouth. It fits my laptop back here in this little flap, and it fits a bunch of books and notebooks. It's actually pretty surprising how much this little bag fits. And it's much lighter than other leather bags that I have. This is their new chestnut color. It's got a nice sheen to it, which is a little bit different than their old chestnut stuff. It's got a nice document flap on the back here. It's got these 2 handles. Man, I love this bag so much. So to answer the question I get all the time, this is how I carry around all my notebooks. This is how I have so many pockets. This is it. I carry a briefcase with me almost everywhere I go so I can lug around all my stuff. On the rare occasions I can't bring this thing with me, I make sure to bring a catch-all with me and a commonplace book or a compendium. So there you go. If you guys want to check out Saddleback stuff, check out my link in the description. Alright, so that's it. Those are the notebooks I carry with me, and that's how I lug around all my stuff. I don't know if that's beneficial to you guys, but I hope it was. If you made it this far into the video, leave me a notebook emoji so I know who the real ones are, and I want to hear from you guys. Leave me a comment. What's your favorite notebook, and which notebook do you carry most? Alright, that's going to do it for this video. I'll catch you guys next time.